Bail for Transnet executives accused of fraud, corruption and money laundering. Eastern Cape death toll now stands at 102. Why is Donald Trump targeting New York's next likely mayor? Hello, I'm Jane Dutton.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent.
Former Transnet executives Brian Molefe and Siyabonga Gama say they intend to plead not guilty to fraud, corruption and money launder charges levelled against them. The two MK party members of parliament have been appearing at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court after handing themselves over to the police today. They've appeared alongside Transnet's former CFO Anoj Singh and top engineer Thamsanqa Giani. The group is linked to an alleged irregular payment of 93 million rand to a Gupta-linked company in 2015. The magistrate ruled that there's no reason to believe they will violate their bail conditions.
Accused number one is to pay bail in a cash deposit amounting to 50,000 rand. Accused number two, bail is fixed at a cash deposit of 50,000 rand. Accused number three, bail is fixed at a cash deposit of 50,000 rand. And accused number four, bail is fixed at a cash deposit of 50,000 rand.
A 3-year-old child who was mauled to death by dogs has been described as a quiet toddler who enjoyed playing with puppies. And now residents from Marathon Informal Settlement in the city of Ekurhuleni are calling for something to be done urgently. On Friday, she was viciously attacked by approximately 5 dogs and later succumbed to her injuries. It's understood that this is the third incident regarding the same group of dogs. Members of the community demolished the shacks believed to belong to the owners of the dogs, and 7 puppies were killed in that.
Bekuyingane right usibonga konke just kumntwana othulile ohlale afake izithupha zakhe uhlala nje noma adlala nabanye abantwana akusumntwana olwayo noma oshayayo noma onjani uhlala nthulile afake izithupha zakhe emlonyeni. Ngiyabona ubone ipapi labantwana abancane ngoba uyabathanda. Ayida ngiyacabanga ukuthi udlalise yona mhlawumbe wathi makayidlaliswa achamuka unina base bayaziyam attack. Yena ungumntana osweet alright kakhulu sibonga.
The Democratic Alliance's decision to withdraw from the national dialogue could mean trouble for John Steenhuisen. President Cyril Ramaphosa's office has said that while the party can boycott the event, ministers who don't participate in the dialogue would be acting insubordinately. Several ministers have been appointed to head up an interministerial committee on the national dialogue, and Steenhuisen is one of them. DA's federal chairperson Helen Zille says her party is mindful of the consequences such a move would have on South Africans. She said that the ANC is ignoring the statement of intent signed between coalition parties at every turn, undermining her party, failing to consult on matters and not being called out. The latest round of tensions has been sparked by President's firing of DA MP Andrew Whitfield as Deputy Minister for going on a DA trip without his permission.
So we have to decide at what point is the ANC's behaviour so egregious that we think it's worth taking the step that will have those consequences.
It's been more than 48 hours since a 9-day-old baby was abducted at Belleville Mall in Belleville. Police are asking for anyone with information to come forward to assist with the investigation. The mother of the infant says she was approached by a woman claiming to be part of the Zoe Project, a maternity organisation which helps new mothers. She says she became sick and asked the woman to look after the baby while she used the bathroom. But when she returned, the woman and her baby were gone. Aitken explains how they verify their staff.
Belleville Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit is investigating a case of kidnapping. A public appeal is hereby made to anyone with information to please call Crime Stop.
The death toll in the floods that hit the Eastern Cape earlier this month has risen to 102. The OR Tambo district remains the hardest hit with 78 fatalities. Among the lives lost are 32 pupils with a demographic breakdown of 49 men, 53 women and 63 adults and 39 children. The provincial government continues providing shelter and meals to displaced families in community care centres and accommodation establishments in and around Mthatha in OR Tambo district and Butterworth in Amatoy district.
The search and recovery teams are continuing with the search, working tirelessly to locate and recover any possible remaining bodies. Government continues to offer sympathies to all the families of the bereaved, as well as provide critical support to ensure the burial of the deceased in a dignified manner.
Gender expert Lisa Vetten has told the Judicial Conduct Tribunal that Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge blurred the lines in his professional relationship with High Court Secretary Andiswa Mengo. This after Mbenenge asked the junior staffer for photos on the 8th of June 2021, the very same day he started communicating with Mengo on social media platform WhatsApp. Vetten is an expert witness providing insight into the asymmetrical power relations that exist between Mengo and the top judge. The judge's secretary accuses Mbenenge of sexual harassment after he allegedly made unwanted sexual advances towards her between 2021 and 2022. Vetten has testified that some of the requests made by Mbenenge signal an exercise of power.
So, I think one of the interesting points about that is to ask another person for pictures in a workplace. A personal picture of yourself is not a requirement in this job. She's a secretary. Asking for pictures without giving any explanation as to why you want those pictures. You can see that as an expression of power in the sense that people who can demand things of others without explanation, that's an expectation that I ask. You don't need to know why.
Serious and Violent Crimes Unit detectives are looking for 2 men who could provide information relating to the mass murder of 7 men in Gugulethu on Saturday. Police spokesperson Andre Traut says the detectives are appealing to the public to provide details about the possible whereabouts of Linde Madolo and Loyiso Matinisi. Traut says they are not suspects but could help.
Preliminary information suggests that the victims were socializing in the kitchen when they were ambushed by unknown assailants. 3 other men who were asleep elsewhere in the house at the time of the attack escaped unharmed.
Police are also pursuing leads relating to a double murder in Nyanga. The incident, which happened yesterday, follows a triple murder in the same area on Friday. Staying in the Western Cape, today marks a step forward for the people of Bontehville as their train station has reopened today after years of decommissioning. The Cape Town station collapsed in 2015 due to governance failure and then was vandalized during 2020's COVID lockdown.
For far too long, our residents have endured the burden of exorbitant transport costs, relying heavily on taxis and buses simply to reach their workplaces, schools and essential services. It is a well-known and deeply concerning reality that 2/3 of our community's disposable income was being spent on transport.
Jurors will begin deliberating whether Sean Diddy Combs parlayed his celebrity wealth and business empire into a decades-long criminal ring that saw him force women into drug-fueled sexual performances with escorts. The dozen New Yorkers tasked with deciding the music mogul's future will begin poring over thousands of phone, financial and other records, along with the stories of 34 people who testified against him over 7 painstaking and at times excruciating weeks. Combs, 55, faces upwards of life in prison if convicted on 5 federal charges that include racketeering, sex trafficking and transportation for purposes of prostitution. The producer and entrepreneur, once one of the most powerful people in the music industry, denies the charges. And New York's next likely mayor, 33-year-old Zohran Mamdani, is getting a lot of attention in the US political sphere, especially after his victory over former Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo last week. Mamdani is a Democratic candidate for New York's mayor. He's also the first Muslim and Indian American in this role if he were to win in November. Mamdani runs his campaign centered around democratic socialism, affordability, rent freezes, city-run supermarkets and a higher tax on the rich. With Mamdani's rise in popularity, US President Donald Trump has accused him of being a communist. That's it from us. Don't forget to download our EWN app.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.